Hey, how's it going, all you lovely people at Door Shutter, coming back to you with a brand new episode of Craftoria. And this is Shut Door from the future. Don't worry, we'll talk about the Eclipse Alloy armor that I'm wearing later on in the series. But for right now, I quickly wanted to talk about what we actually did for this whole ritual thing, because I don't really talk about it. I just kind of jump into getting in the minor and logic portions of that, but I didn't really talk about how I'm accomplishing pushing items or what this ritual actually is called, anything like that. And I do apologize. I didn't even mention it in the last episode. So let's get talking about this. Here is the ritual that we are using to repair the miner. This is from Occultism. This is built in by default. And all it does is it takes your broken miner and repairs it to full durability. And so just ritual repair miner. That's all this is called. You actually can see that when you go and look at any of these miners. You'll see that there is a ritual on each of these to do the ritual repair miner, which is fantastic. But of course, you need Spirit Attuned Crystals, which we got last episode. And this also needs Otherworld Essence, which we got the first portion of that, which is this thing that we drop into Spirit Fire, and then that becomes Otherworld Essence. And then that is, of course, pushed into the ritual using a modular router, sender, and puller modules. So sends up, pulls from the actual functional storage. And the same thing for this one, and the same thing for this one. Of course, this is using an interface to pull Isnium, and that is fantastic. So that is kind of how we're doing that, right? This is also the... which one actually tier is this? Let's go quickly look here. So the tier of ritual that this is... So this is Strikers. Let's see, I think it's this one. So it's this one right here, Sevra's Permanent Confinement, which is the highest tier you need. So you don't need the Ufix's Inverted Tower. You just need the Severe's Permanent Confinement, which is fantastic. Of course, you don't need an Eldritch Chalice here. I'm just using that because that is instant. So if you need to use a lower tier, you can use the Golden Sacrificial Bowl and or the Isnium Sacrificial Bowl. Those two will get the job done. I just did an Eldritch Chalice here because that will speed everything up. But of course, this is not all supposed to be white. This is Void Chalk. And then for the picking up of items, we actually have a modular router with the distributor module for the actual miners, which we'll talk about later. Of course, right now we have 4 because future, right? We'll get into that. But we use distributor modules and also a vacuum module to pick up the miner. And that allows for us to pick things up with filter. So we're actually filtering the master miners and the eldritch miners and whichever else miners you want. You would just put that in here. Make sure you're ignoring item damage, matching tags. You want to disable that. And then, of course, make sure whitelist. So that is something that I also did there. And then the thing under this is actually a demagnetization coil as well. We could probably put miners and stuff in there, but I just haven't. But yeah, I think for the most part that kind of completes a lot of the information. There is inventory control for these, which is an inventory module checking the inventory count. And then from there, this then goes and takes the integer, which is 1024 that we are using for both of these, I do believe. This will also limit the amount that we're keeping in this thing. So right now we do just have 1025, so a little bit over, but that's okay. Looks like 1 over, but that's fine. And then, of course, we're just comparing greater than or equal to. Looks like we are doing 15 to 16. So this is greater than or equal to the 1024, and that is then sending a redstone signal using laser IO to prevent this from sending any more in, which is fantastic. So that's kind of how we're doing it on both ends here. Just wanted to let you guys know because, yeah, this is definitely something I should have talked about. I don't know why I didn't. I really think that's a flaw in this episode, but I hope this will rectify it, and we will get right back into the normal, regularly scheduled program. We are getting into placing some of these Merid miners here because we actually do need to get some core pieces. The mining dimension core pieces, what are they called? Let me just make sure that's what they're called. Yes, mining dimension core pieces. We need a handful of these. And of course, they are extremely uncommon, which means that we are going to be doing this version of the miner for quite a hot minute. And so what we need to do is basically reset up what I have right here. and we'll go over this. I'm not even going to show you what I did here. We're just going to do it over on this other wall behind me, and that will be the way we talk about this. So this whole thing should not be that complicated. We also do have the actual portion set up in the center to take all the items to repair the miner. So all we've got to do is send in a damaged miner, and that will allow for us to immediately repair it. It'll pick it up, and then we can send it using this modular router here. So let's get into this. So modular routers, we're going to set up one side first, and then I'll set up the other side off camera. So that is going to be how we do this. So right now, actually, I've got 8 of these guys. And that actually is going to be our capacity for this, because the distribution module, which we will be using to take out the miner, will be only able to support 8 pieces at a time. So let's just get this going. Let's actually just grab a handful of those. Okay. And then what we need to make sure of, and this is 100%, you have to do this, no ifs and or buts. Whenever you go to right click, in this case shift right click, you need to click the top. So see how that is highlighted on the very top? You need to make sure that you are highlighting the very top, because if you do not, these dimensional mine shafts will not pull out the miner. And if you were to do like a sender module here, you will not be able to send into the actual miner slot, which is this one here, specifically this one here. You will actually send into this one here, right? One of these. And this can be pulled out and thrown into your ore system or whatever and cause a whole bunch of mess. So just make sure you're aware. This is not like a, oh, you can somewhat, bend the rules. You have to do it that way. So see how I just messed up? So I need to get rid of this one and then re-add it. So basically, how I did that was I just clicked on this side, which is very hard to do a little bit, but that's okay. And then that got rid of it, then I re-added it to make sure it's the top. So this only supports 8 pieces. That's why we have 8 over there, 8 over here, and then if we do get 8 more, we can make another set. But for now, that is our limit. All right. So how do we detect durability? Now, that is something that I did not know about for a long time with modular routers until last time I did this, which is in the Direwolf 21.21 mod pack, and I went and made some complicated system with integrated dynamics, which was really fun and really enjoyable. But this time, we don't need to do it that way. We didn't really need to do it that way in the beginning, but it was just fun, in all honesty. I don't use integrated dynamics that much, so I enjoyed it. So we're going to grab a bulk item filter. Let's actually just snag up a handful of those. And I believe this is the one we need. The inspection filter. I do believe, isn't this one? Yes, this is one. So with the inspection filter, we're going to go durability. And we are going to say, let's see, hold on. Let me actually quickly snag one of the cards here, because I want to make sure we do this right. This is really hard to read. So this says durability, 10%. Okay, let's do the durability, this, I can't remember the name of it right now, and then we just put in the number here. So you could say like 50, you could say 10, you could say 99, right? So this is a percentage rather than an amount, all right? So we're going to do this. And honestly, the only reason I'm saying this is because honestly right now I cannot think of what that is actually called, because it is too early in the morning. That is a less than sign. Goodness gracious. Okay, less than. And that should work. So now we're going to put this in here, and we're going to whitelist. Okay? But I wanted to make sure we got that right. And we also need to make sure that we transfer into router as well. So we have to see this little icon rather than the other icon, which is that. So that is something we do also need to make sure we do. Another thing I recommend, speed upgrades. Speed upgrades will be a savior here because that will pull that out when it needs to, which is fantastic. And then we're going to grab a sender module. And we are going to send, I'm going to actually just send this to the top. I don't think that one really matters as long as you send it into it, but we're just going to make sure by sending it to the top. And we're going to do blacklist. We don't really care, whatever is whatever at that point. All right. So that is the durability portion. Everything is covered. Alrighty, which is fantastic. So the next portion of this is to get the actual miner back in, which is going to basically be a reverse of this. So we would have to grab another distribution card. So let's actually grab one of those. I'm going to snag a handful of pistons here. So I can then make a handful of these. And then we'll make another set of those. And then distribution. So realistically, you could just grab 2 in the beginning and then just right-click them as you go. And that would actually make 2 rather than just 1. But we're okay. Okay, I think I did all of them right. Yep. So, modular router. Where do I want to put this? I guess we could just put this right here. And then modular router, and we just put a chest, because this is where we're going to send to, rather than anywhere else. Let's actually just grab an iron chest, just in case. So, distribution module, speed upgrades, distributor module, not distribution module. I think I keep messing that up, but that's okay. So that should be golden. Okay, so we're transferring into the actual pieces, so out of the router, and that is beautiful. And then we need to also say puller. We really don't need a big puller module like a Mark II. We can be fine with a Mark I. And we're going to say left. And that will then send from chest to here to one of these guys. So if they're empty in that first slot, that is where it'll be sent. So let's make sure we pull a sender module. And we're going to right-click. Of course, this is a chest, so it does not matter which direction. But we're just clicking on the top because that's what we have access to. And that will be beautiful. So if it cannot send to over there, it will send to over here or over here once we get the actual pieces done. And it looks like I actually whitelisted on the other filter. So let's just go ahead and do that. So because we don't have anything filtering out. So let's just do that. So whitelist, we'll ignore damage, we'll ignore tags, match any, always continue. That looks good to me. Okay. And then that should cover that. Now the next portion is getting the items out of here, which is going to be just using some item pipes, because we actually can pull out of any side with item pipes besides the top, right? Because that is your main miner slot. I will keep emphasizing that because it is very important. This is one of those things where it's like, hey, this is good to know. And it's something I've actually messed with a lot with this mod, especially with integrated dynamics. The way to read what item is actually in there is only through the top. You cannot read it any other way because it's basically like it's 2 different inventories. And it's a really interesting thing to look at. If you ever mess with integrated dynamics and use like its display panel and stuff to pull info off of these, it's a really interesting thing to look at. I think I did that in the Direwolf 21.21 mod pack. I might have to try and find that episode and see if I can link it, because it's just one of those things I found really interesting messing with. So definitely some cool stuff. All right, let's get all of these upgrades. And then I guess it is time to get the miners. So one thing you could do, and this is something I will show, is you can actually enchant these guys to have unbreaking. So if you do want to have these last longer and not use more resources, you can go about it that way. Unbreaking 5 makes these last a lot longer. Of course, right now, that is a lot of unbreaking to put on these guys, because that is 16 different modules, right? Yeah. Or 16 different, what are these, dimensional mine shafts? 16 different of those, plus the 4 over there. So yeah, that would be a lot of unbreaking. So I do not think I will be doing that, but that is an option if you wanted to get into that, you could totally do that. I will do that with the Eldritch miners, which of course we will have 4 of those, which is what all of these guys will equal once we get the pieces we need. So let's just get tossing here. So we're just shift clicking. There we go. And that will get us off to the races. Oh, it looks like I actually do not have the ender chest that I do need. Let's just grab another ender chest. So what is the color here? That is cyan, I do believe. Perfect. And then that will be here. Beautiful. Okay. And that is the system, right? That is what we are going to be doing. Everything should be cruising. Should be going right along. All right. And that is the basic mining system. Very, very basic compared to the last season. So I'm going to let these run. I'm going to monitor them to make sure they don't break. I did watch this one for a while, and it looks like we've actually repaired all of these, because all of these were damaged. So that's a pretty decent thing. Did I put a demagnetization coil? Yes, I did. I hid it underground. That's what I did. I wanted to make sure I put one here. Because, yeah, see how we just picked up cobblestone? What I should do instead is probably grab a vacuum module. That might be a better option. Let's actually do that real quick. So this right here, let's see. And if we grab like a range upgrade, I think, or range module, let's look up range. Yeah, range up. And we get rid of this. And we just put this in here. And we put the miner, which would be this one. Whitelist, ignore, ignore. And we just did range up, which go in here. That should allow for us to pull the master miner without needing the vacuum hopper, absorption hopper thingy here. And that should work. So now if I drop this, should not pick it up. But if I were to drop this, it should pick it up. It definitely needs to be faster than that, though. And that probably sent it to one of these, by the way. I don't know which one it sent it to, but it definitely should have sent it to one of them. Perfect. I guess that's the one problem, is if it sends it here and it needs to go over there, it will become like an issue. Ooh, I probably need to think about that. I could probably replace these with distribution modules. Distributor modules, whatever you want to call them at this point, because I keep calling them the wrong thing. That would probably be a better option. And it's still not quick at all. Okay, let me look at getting those changed over to a distributor module, and that way we're not, doing this. And actually, we have these modules right here. So we can actually just go over and just take these out, and that will get rid of those modular routers and also the chests and these actual cinder modules as well. So that way it'll be able to send to one that is empty rather than just being in a modular router causing other issues. So that will be okay with me. So that will get rid of this. And also get rid of this. And then we'll hope that that actually works. So if I actually drop this now, we should see that this actually gets stuck inside of there, which means that it isn't empty, right? So that is a thing. That might be the only issue now, is that if, well, no, because I'm not going to do that again. I'm not going to drop another miner. So if I don't drop another miner, then these should be only time they are pulled out is when they are durability low, and that should mean there's always one empty. But we're good. I think that makes things a little bit cleaner as well. So that is fantastic. All right, let me get to the next set of 8, and I will be back here in a little bit. And what I'll actually probably do is with this, by the way, probably put this right here so we don't have to make a second one. And then we, of course, can then put our pipes back here and make things just a little bit nicer. So we're not wasting a whole bunch of ender chests. All right, so I'm still messing with some occultism. We have a lot of the miners downstairs. We're actually going to go check on those real quick because I've been just doing other stuff while this has been running. Let's see. Let's make sure F3H is on. So 160 is, of course, the damage we're looking for. So it looks like we've got this one just got repaired a little bit ago. I don't think I see anything that is close to 160. Everything looks like it's about 300 to 500. So that is good. Okay. That is beautiful. So everything has been running. We've got 2 core pieces, which now means that we can actually obtain 2 Eldritch Miners, which is fantastic. That is beautiful to see. So we will actually do that in a little bit, but I want to actually quickly just shift gears here to a different mod completely, which is, let me actually put some stuff away. I'm also working on Myriad Crushers, by the way. That's what all of this other stuff is. I'm doing multiple things at once, just off camera, which are taking quite a bit of time, but that's a-okay. I figure a lot of this is going to take some time to get there. But right now, I need to get 1 ingredient, which I'm getting a handful of Eldritch Chalices for our other rituals, just so that way if we ever need anything, all of our rituals, our main rituals mostly, will actually be able to be instant rather than having to wait. So if I need to make more crushers in the future, it would be instantaneous. And I'm actually going to knock a lot of this stuff out here real quick. So what I want to do is get into Apotheosis. Apotheosis Enchanting specifically. I think it's called Apothic. Is it Apotheosis now? Hold on. Enchant. Okay, so it's Apothic Enchant then. There we go. We'll just look up Apothic and that should work. Apothic Enchanting. Is it enchanting like this or is it enchanting like this? Okay, it's enchanting like that. All right. So what we can do, instead of going through this method, which is a viable method, you need allays for this though, which aren't hard to get. You trigger a raid, you capture a Vex, and then you can actually summon a Vex into an allay using another occultism ritual. Actually, if we quickly allay and we look at this, here is the actual thing, and it is actually done with the ritual out here, hence why I have this ritual out here, is because I can actually do that. But this method we're about to use, which is the Apotheosis Infusion Enchanting, this actually will be hopefully quicker. I'm not 100% sure if that's even going to be true in this case, but we need a handful of things. So first things first, we need to get the Eternia, the Quanta, and the Arcana between these levels that we're seeing here. So Eterna is 60, the Quanta is 30 to 50, and then the Arcana is 50%. So at least, and this one's at least as well. So this is the only one that we have to get between these numbers or it will not work. So let's get this going. So first things first, let's grab an enchanting table because I don't actually have one. I've been using this thing to keep the default enchants going. So what does a full circle of bookshelves get us? So let's actually just test that real quick. So if I grab Lapis and I grab, let's just grab a random chest plate I have in here. Perfect. It's unenchanted. So right now we have the 30, 15, and 0. We have like a total value for enchantability bonus, which is the gold chest plate itself, I do believe. So 0, 15, 30. All right. So for 30, we'll start with the very first one, which is 60. Okay. So how do we get 60? So let's look up Eterna. What is it actually called? Because I completely forgot. Yeah, it is Eterna. Can we not look this up like we used to? Or is it because it's not like JEI where we can look this up? I don't think we're going to be able to look it up that way. So let's just kind of look at some other things here. So skulls, this would get you quanta. So this is a good way to obtain quanta. So if we were actually to grab some skulls, this would be a good way to kind of get that number there real quick. So let's just toss that in for a second. So that gets us up to 35. So our quanta's there, right? Let's look up bookshelf. So we have a whole bunch of different kinds of bookshelves. These are 2. The default is 2. This one gives us 10. Let's see. And I know there's a whole bunch of other shelves as well, because the Apotheosis adds them. So like the end shelf, the deep shelf, the hell shelf. So that would get us to 45. That dormant deep shelf would get us to 30. So normal deep shelves is kind of where we want to be at. But we do need Eternia to be 60. So is our sea shelves the option? There's the infused sea shelf. The infused sea shelf requires 45, which is the normal sea shelf. Do we even have the ability to make a sea shelf? I think I have prismarine shards outside, don't I? Oh, I'm in the wrong building. I'm so used to being in that building right now. It's been so many episodes where I've just been in that building. Yes, I do have some prismarine shards. Fantastic. Okay. So that should allow for us to get some seashells. So that's 3, because I don't have any more puffer fish. How many to get to 45? I think with the set we have currently, we should be able to do 3. Because this is 30 right now. 3, 6, 9. So that would be 39. I'm actually gonna... Actually, no, I don't care. I have enough materials to keep going with that. So that's 35. 3, 3, 3. I thought that would be 39. But that's not how that works. Okay, interesting. So I probably need to get a handful more of those kind of shelves. Or I could go for a hell shelf. See if that may add here. So 36. I'm so confused. Well, yeah, technically, okay, that's why, because this is 2 and this is 3, so you're only adding 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That should add just 4 pieces. Okay. I don't know why that took me a second to get there, but it definitely did. So we basically want to replace this whole thing. So we're going to need to go get potions of regen. We could also do infused hell shells, but I think those are... No, they're equivalent. Okay, so we can do either or. And that's not like it matters. So since I have 3 hell shelves, or 3 sea shelves, I can do those as well as the hell shelf. So let me grab some potions of regen. Gas tears, blaze powder. We've got that stuff. Be right back. Alright, we got 12 hell shelves here, so we should be able to knock out this stuff. The only problem... so, I did notice this. We do have quanta on these as well, which may be an issue. We could knock out the skulls if need be. But that should get us up to 45. Let's grab a chest plate again. So that's 45, and that is 70. So let's knock these guys out. So that should knock that down by 20. So now we're at 54. So we're still too high. So we cannot use the rest of this. We'd probably want to grab a couple more hell shelves here. Let me go snag these guys here. So the sea shelf is probably what we need to get, but we need to get puffer fish for that. And I actually don't have any more puffer fish. That may be a problem. Unless we have something that can make quanta go bye-bye, which may be a possibility. Let's look at enchanting. We probably have something in here that can knock quanta. So, like, the arcane treasures could do that. The melon shelf. The melon shelf definitely could do that for us. So let's actually snag up a couple of, or at least one. I think that should be enough. And then in the meantime, the hell shelves will be allowing us to infuse the sea shelf by the seashore, and we should be fantastic. I hope. Kind of winging this, if you can't tell. What else do we need? A little bit of Arcana. Candles. Is that what I'm thinking? Candles? Arcana. Just slap a couple of those guys down. No? Do we need 10? Is that what that said? It's just kind of hard to read because the buttons. Okay, so we need 10. Occultism candles. They're actually better than default candles. So let's grab a couple of those. There we go. Beautiful. So now if we take out 3 of these guys, put these 3 down, that is, I can't tell. I'm trying to look at the thing up here instead of just throwing a piece of item in there, but this might be quicker. So now we're at 54, 54, and 32. So I may want to knock out one of these guys and put down a melon shelf. Does that leave us in the realm that we need to be? No, because we actually need 60, don't we? And this melon shelf takes out Eternia as well. Okay, so let me get a couple more of the infused sea shelves. I'll have to go hunt down some pufferfish, which I think I may have a way to go do, but I have to just find them first. So let's grab some mob. Actually, no, we just kill them, right? We just slaughter them, and that'll be easier. Or we could pick one with a mob imprisonment tool and capture them, so that way we have indefinite amounts. Because I don't think we get any out here. I don't think so. Actually, we do have 9. So that actually should be somewhat decent. A couple more prismarine shards, please. Thank you. So now we're out of bottles of water. Oh, that's not hard. I used quite a bit of bottles out of the storage system for this. And this should still be running to get us more regen potions. We may need night vision here in a minute as well, because that is one that is needed, I think. But we're not going to try and get max enchants either right now. We're just getting the bare minimum so we can get Amethyst. Budding Amethyst, that's all we need right now. And then I will, like, specify the amount that we used for all of this stuff. That's one thing I did not do in the Direwolf 20 pack, was actually specify the amount of items I used. So I will be sure to do that here once we get this completed. Which this one's not going to be as complicated, right? Shouldn't be, hopefully, but we shall see. Okay, so let's knock all of this out. That's strange. The large candles can't stay on floating like normal candles. Interesting. The more you know, right? And then let's get... So how much do we have right now? So we're actually at 60. And we have 15 quanta. So the quanta, we actually need more of. So we may want to... Let's see. I need more... Yeah, I need more quanta in general. So let's toss down some of these guys. Just to see if we can get there. So that is 27, so one more. But is that 60 now? Okay, we're still at 60, so that's working. And we can now get an infused hell shelf, but I don't really care about that. I care about the amethyst. Okay, so we can do this. So if I knock out a handful of sea shelves, I want to see how many we can take away. So right now we're using 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 infused sea shelves and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hell shelves. Let's see. Are we over the amount? No, we're actually right on the amount of quanta we need. So that's perfect. But that gets us where we need to be. which is getting 4 of these guys. And I do need 4 because I want to get 4 Eldritch Chalices. Fantastic. That was the easiest way to get Amethyst. Budding Amethyst, at least. Of course, if you need to get Budding Amethyst an easier way, cardboard boxes. The recipe for cardboard boxes is different in Craftoria. I did change it back, of course, because I want cardboard boxes in the beginning. The kitchen sink pack, after all, and I can do what I want, you know? So that is fantastic. Yeah, I mean, that is going to be it for Apotheosis. So, with that being said, we are going to wrap this one up here. This has been super enjoyable. I enjoyed the fact that we got through some of the miner stuff that'll be used for the Eldritch miners as well. Quickly, let's just take a peek. So we still only got 2 of those guys. I will get 2 Eldritch miners off camera and replace the current Merid miners down there, which of course that will take out 8 of those miners, and then allow for us to put 2 Eldritch miners, which is fantastic. So thank you guys so much for watching. Stay awesome, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.